Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. I know that I told you yesterday to expect Nikki Kales from the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce for today's show, but Nikki has had a last-minute family emergency. And when I say last minute, I say that because the guest that I have today literally came to my rescue with about 3 hours notice to pre-record today's show. And I am so excited to have Mitzi Fox with me on the screen. Mitzi actually started off as a listener of The Valley Today. And then I met you, Mitzi, in person at a LinkedIn seminar at the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber. Then you came to the meetup, the Java Janet meetup that we had right before the pandemic. And now we see each other several Fridays a month on the coffee break conversations that Nikki hosts at the chamber. It's come full circle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, COVID kind of kicked a lot of things around, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm looking forward to our conversation today because you are a Virginia Master Naturalist. What is that exactly?
It's similar to the Master Gardener program in that you take a series of classes. Part of being a Master Naturalist is doing volunteer work and doing continuing education after your initial training of about 50 hours and your initial projects that you do to become a Master Naturalist. Now then you become a person who is a resource if people need help. If anyone wants to learn about native critters, bugs, plants, rocks, Virginia Master Naturalist is where you need to go. Or if you have questions, that's where you can also go. And Virginia Master Naturalists participate in a lot of citizen science kind of studies, or I did hikes this spring for wildflowers. Different Master Naturalists, depending on their interest, do different things. But if you have an interest in learning about critters and things that are native to this area, that's where you go. And it's also a program that's associated with Virginia Tech. They have other sponsors, but Virginia Tech is the center of it, like it is with a lot of different things, the cooperative extension.
You're a member of the Virginia Native Plant Society. I'm guessing some of those things go hand in hand. If you are part of one, then you kind of want to be part of the other, right?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what kind of direction you want to go. I'm in the Virginia Native Plant Society. Oh my gosh, if you want to learn native plants, you go on some hikes with these people. They know all of them. But you don't plan on going a long distance with the Native Plant Society because you go a little bit, oh, there's a plant, a little bit more, there's a plant, oh, there's another plant. So it takes a little while to go a mile, but we have a great time, and these people just really know what they're doing, and they teach you. They're very interested in teaching everybody else. In fact, with the Thompson Wildlife Management Area, that's where the trilliums are in May. I'm not sure if you've been there, but a lot of people have been. It's like Markham, I think is the mailing address. And the Virginia Native Plant Society was really involved in setting that area aside because they knew, because they were into that kind of thing, that there's a lot of native plants there. It was going to be developed, and they went to war with it, and they got that whole thing set aside, which is just like, that's amazing. But that was the Virginia Native Plant Society. It's based at Blandy. There's different chapters. This is the Piedmont chapter that we have here. But they're an incredible group of people.
What's the big deal about native plants? I mean, does it really matter if it originated in Virginia or if I brought it with me from another state when I relocated? Why are native plants and native animals so important for people to know about?
Well, the native plants are important because if you want to have birds, you have to have things that they can feed their babies. These plants evolved with the birds that are here. They will attract caterpillars that then the birds can feed their babies. Beetles are fine too, but they're a little hard to put down their little throats, so caterpillars are actually better. Butterflies the same way. For instance, let's take butterfly bush. Butterfly bush is great. It's beautiful. It attracts a lot of butterflies, but it did not evolve here. It's native to China. So when butterflies come there and lay their eggs there, when the babies hatch, little caterpillars, they got nothing to eat because they cannot eat butterfly bush. So the butterflies that are on your butterfly bush, they're getting some nectar, and that's great. But the next generation is kind of like out of luck. But say you plant something else, butterfly weed, which, I mean, there's weed that doesn't sound good, but they're beautiful. They're orange. You would love it. I should get you one.
Museum of the Shenandoah Valley had their heritage plant sale a few weeks ago, and I went to preview night. I joined the museum so that I was a member, and I went Thursday night to their preview night, and I got 2 of them, and they are in the ground right now in my garden. I cannot wait for them to bloom.
Wonderful. That's a good alternative. There's a lot of good native alternatives to butterfly bush, and I would definitely. And actually, butterfly bush seeds a lot, and it spreads. It's an invasive plant. There are some non-native plants that don't like spread all over the place. They kind of stick where they are. But butterfly bush it tends to spread, and that's not a good thing because then butterflies go to it, and it's kind of a dead end, and that's not good. Butterfly weed, on the other hand, that can support butterflies and the caterpillars. And there's a whole bunch of them that can. And actually, Samuel's library has a great section on native plants. If you just go to Samuel's website and search for native plants, it's mainly in section 635, like our telephone exchange. It's around in there. There's a lot of books that they have if you want to just take a look. And so, and one person that has done a lot of work on that and published some good books is Doug Tallamy. You'll hear about him if you hang around these kind of people a lot. But he's done a lot of surveying, a lot of studying on what plants support what caterpillars. So what butterflies and what other bugs can live on the plants that are native. So you can kind of tell. And some of the books there at the Samuels will tell you how many caterpillars or native species are fed by this one plant, like spice bush is a great plant. Even poison ivy. Poison ivy, we don't really like because you might make you itch a little bit, but it's really good food for wildlife. Where on the other hand, English ivy, it's another invasive. Burning bush, I love burning bush, but then it's an invasive native. If you're concerned about habitat and species, there's been like an extinction of species, and to help restore species, they've got to have a place to eat, and they got to have a place to shelter. They've got to have water, right? If they got nothing to eat, then don't do them any good. So that's why natives are important. Long answer to us.
Were you always into plants and the environment and your surroundings and things like that when you were a kid?
I grew up in Front Royal, and we lived on a big hill. And of course, the school buses at that time, they said they couldn't get up the hill. So we would walk up the hill, and I would come home with tent caterpillars crawling up my arm. Tent caterpillars are great, though. They're good bird food, by the way. They usually grow on cherries. And I was lucky. I still have in my possession property that has been in our family since 1772, believe it or not. And I was walking with my grandmother on this property. I still have 62 acres of it. That was originally 340 some. And we were walking along, and she picked up the little piece of a plant and put it in her mouth and chewed it and said, "Oh, this will make you pee." It's called Pipsissewa. And she's right. It's a diuretic. She was right. I was amazed. So I had a long history of this kind of stuff. I've always been interested in plants and all kinds of natural things. And I've always loved being out and hiking and that sort of thing. So, And I've always been somebody that people always call and say, what in the heck is this?
Your daughter just graduated with a degree in environmental science from Virginia Tech. So it's turned out this has kind of become a family thing.
I know, poor child. She also looks a bit like me. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's done so well. I'm so proud of her. She really knows soils, and that's an important thing, and that's a hard thing to distinguish. But she's done so well. Virginia Tech is just such a good school for this kind of topic. I graduated from UVA, so I'm not supposed to say that, but
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things, but I want to talk about the Izaak Walton League because I know that is something that is very near and dear to your heart. And then on the list of talking points that you had sent me earlier, it lists you as a bluebird monitor. And I feel like I need to know, how does one get to be a bluebird monitor, and what does that mean? So can we talk about those things in the next segment?
that sure sounds like a plan.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation today with Mitzi Fox. We, of course, have pre-recorded it on the Zoom screen, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/Quick Money Chat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/Quick Money Chat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday. As you are listening to the show today, we, of course, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen. I am chatting today with Mitzi Fox. She is a Virginia Master Naturalist, and I've learned so many things, even during the break, and just from Mitzi in general over the last couple of years that I've known her. And Mitzi, one of the big things about being a Master Naturalist isn't just about the native stuff. It's conserving what we already have.
There's a lot of things that are involved. When you do take the Master Naturalist classes, you take things about fish, ichthyology, you take geology. I mean, there's so many issues that are related to Virginia Master Naturalist. It's such an interesting course and such an interesting group of people. And the people that give the classes are experts in their field. It's just wonderful. And actually the local chapter, which is the Shenandoah chapter, Northern Shenandoah chapter, is starting a class September 11th that goes through November. And that is to become a Master Naturalist. Now, since they haven't had a class in a while, I imagine that one will be pretty full, but they're looking to have another one in the spring. And you can go to their website and you can get more information. But they haven't given out the applications for that course yet because they haven't figured out where they're going to have the class. They normally have it at Blandy, but with the restrictions there, they're thinking about someplace else, but we'll see how it goes.
I've learned from talking with Mark Sutphin from the Virginia Cooperative Extension, which of course is under Virginia Tech, and then Tim Farmer, who I cannot believe he left me. He is retired from Blandy. He spent 25 years at Blandy. He just retired after the garden fair over Mother's Day weekend was his last event. So he has retired, but they're under UVA and they have different rules and guidelines from what maybe the governor does or the state does or Clark County or Frederick County. So I understand what you're saying when you say, it kind of depends because there are all of these layers of restrictions and COVID safety precautions that are being taken.
Right. And with the class not till September, I mean, things could be completely different by then. So, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but you can, if you're interested, just put your name in and they'll be in touch with you.
Now, you are really involved in the Izaak Walton League. Tell me a little bit about that organization.
Well, Izaak Walton League is kind of one of these things where people know that it's there, but they don't have I didn't know what it did until I came here, and it was only kind of by accident that I did. I volunteered to help the person who was leading nature programs last year. We started offering, especially with COVID, we started offering outdoor children's nature programs, and it was a big hit. I mean, spaces in that program were gone as soon as they were posted in Facebook. I mean, people would wait for them to be posted. Boom, they were gone because we had to limit the numbers. And you got to limit the numbers anyway, because you can only handle so many children at one time. But I did that. Now, what Izaak Walton is, it's a conservation organization. It's one of the oldest, founded in 1922. It was founded actually by 54 hunters who were concerned about how nature was being mistreated. Waters were getting polluted, timber was being stripped away, wetlands were being drained. And so they said, well, nature nurtures us. It's our job to sustain nature. So they were sustainability before sustainability was cool. And so they started this group, and it's been the longest and one of the most active conservation organizations around. They encourage outdoor sports of all sorts: fishing, hiking, archery, shooting, anything that's outdoors. They want that. And hunters actually support conservation a lot. The funds that come through excise taxes and sale of licenses funds a lot of nature conservation. They helped a lot with the migratory bird laws that came around. And actually, I was just telling you that in 1946, before anybody else cared, the Izaak Walton League's chapter took the lead in pressuring the Virginia General Assembly to clean up the Shenandoah River and curtail American viscose toxic effluent. Now, this was in 1946. Now, it wasn't declared a Superfund site until like the 1980s. So they have really been on the edge, and they're very much into water, clean water, and they do a lot of water monitoring, and they also conservation of species. That's a big thing for them. The chapter in Warren County is out at Browntown, Virginia, and it's on, I think it's like 155 acres, I believe, in Browntown that adjoins the Shenandoah National Park. So it's beautiful back there. And there's an existing house that's been there for a long time. And there's a lake. You can go fishing. There's a lot of land. They've cleared trails. There's a shooting range. It's a little narrow, but there's a shooting range. And there's an archery range that is just the best. And it's just a wonderful place to go. A lot of native plants. And oh my gosh, the people, they know their birds. They know their plants. It's just, I love it. I love being back there.
I didn't realize that they had this whole purpose and this whole mission. And then it's such a great purpose and such a great mission to be able to keep places like the properties that they have that surround their various chapters for other people to be able to enjoy the outdoors.
Exactly. And then we have programs to support that, like the nature program that will start again on June 23rd on Wednesdays, Walton Wednesdays, we call them. Warren County VA Ikes.org, which is WACOVAIKES.org. That's Warren County Ikes, Izaak Walton League, they call us Ikes.org.
This is a great way to get the kids outside. I followed some of the things that you post on your own website, and you were talking about nerd neck. This is a great way to overcome nerd neck from staring at a screen for too long.
Oh yeah, get a hunchback and look like a vulture. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Well, and I'd also like to get more teens. I had some older kids this time. That's why I joined, was to help with the older kids. I'd like to get some older kids, teens, and even if the older teens, maybe they could help as a counselor, or maybe we can have a class just for them. I would even like to have adult kind of classes, like I said, maybe watercolors and wine, but I don't know about driving Browntown Road, but it's a fun organization.
How does one get to be a bluebird monitor? I gotta know. How do you get to be a bluebird monitor? Because that sounds like the most peaceful thing anybody could ever do on any given day.
Well, it's pretty hot, I have to say, because you're out in the sun. Well, first of all, you go to Ramsey's Hardware a lot, like I've always done that. you get to know Lee Bowen, and he's one of the Bluebird Monitor managers. So you go on the Northern Virginia Shenandoah Audubon Society website, and what you do is we've got like 80 boxes at Andy Guest Park, and we divide it into 3 trails, and you go with another person usually if you want, and there's a form you fill out. You open the box, you see how many little birds are in there, if any. You see how many eggs, what kind of bird it is, because you get to know that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. I love it. It's so much fun. The little bird with the little beaks, they're so cute. I mean, they actually really, they are kind of ugly, but, but until they start to get feathers.
Some actual babies are not nearly as cute as we let their parents believe that they are when they are a teeny tiny baby.
No kidding.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to my rescue and being my guest today. I'm going to put links to all of the stuff that you sent over to me. So there will be links to the Virginia Master Naturalists. There'll be links to the Virginia Native Plant Society, the Audubon Society, the Izaak Walton League. All of those things are on the show notes page. Mitzi, thank you so much. As always, it's been fun talking to you.
Oh, I had a great time. That was fun.
And before we wrap up today, so we are pre-recording. You're listening to this, of course, on a Wednesday afternoon. Mitzi and I are having our conversation on a Tuesday evening after I just got back from the vet. While I was there, one of the wonderful people that work at Roseville brought me this flyer and asked if I would give a quick plug. So there is a Cody Gray benefit and poker run. It is happening Saturday, June 12th. Everyone is welcome. Bikes, cars, trucks, and Jeeps. Registration starts at 9:30 a.m. The last vehicle will be out by noon. Lone Oak Tavern is offering breakfast specials. And if you don't want to participate in the poker run, you can still come to the Berryville Moose Lodge after 4 and have food, beverages, music, all of that sort of thing. It is all for the Cody Gray Medical Fund. So you can do a quick Facebook search for Geezy Strong, Geezy, and they have a silent auction and everything, and they are trying to raise money to support Cody Gray. So I will put the link to that in the show notes page as well. Tomorrow we are talking jobs. We're talking a really cool program with Bonnie Zampino. She is back with me to talk about a new maintenance technician program. So meet me back here tomorrow a few minutes after noon. I will have all of the details for that program. Meet you here then.